Someone kept following me. I first noticed it when I was inside the top of the multi-story car park. I had drove to town to pick up a present for my daughter's birthday party. Once in the car park, I walked over to get a parking ticket for my car. I was casually looking around while I waited for my ticket to process. I saw a man who seemed to be watching me from the other side of the car park. Far away, I just put it down to the fact he was probably waiting for someone or something. I then headed back to place my ticket inside of the car. I decided to then leave the elevator and take the stairs instead, leading me to the bottom of the car park and out in the middle of town. Once in town, the first place I went to was the card shop, where I picked up a birthday card, some balloons, and a couple of banners that read, "9 years old and happy birthday" across them. After the card shop, I made my way to a local bike shop where I picked out a little pink bike out for my daughter's birthday present. The bike had sparkling glitter on the handle grips and rainbows and unicorns all over the frame of the bike. I asked the shop owner if I could keep my daughter's bike there so I didn't have to carry it around town. He of course was okay with it. So, only needing a few more things from town, I thought I might go grab a bite to eat. I went into a nearby deli shop and asked for a cheese and onion sandwich along with a bottle of water. The cashier at the deli asked me for £2.10 and I made my way out of the shop. I decided to go sit down on a bench and eat my food. I was eating my sandwich when I saw what looked like the same man from the car park. He was in the marketplace. I saw him as I locked eyes with him for a split second. He was pretending to search through a stack of DVD movies on one of the stores. I watched him still eating my sandwich. He was a tall man, so he could be seen very easily. He wore a woolly hat and a musky brown jacket that covered his neck area. There was nothing special about his bottom half. He had on the usual dark jeans and a pair of shoes that matched color with his jacket. So I threw my rubbish inside the trash can at the side of the bench and tried to walk around the corner. I wanted to see if he would follow or if it was just me being paranoid. I walked far enough away and went into the grounds of an old graveyard and hid behind a monument. From where I was, I could still see him if he walked around the corner, but he would not be able to see me. I waited patiently for about 7 minutes, thinking I was just being paranoid. I was just about to walk off when, you guessed it, he came around the corner. It looked like he was desperately looking around and didn't want to lose track of me. At least that's what his face read. I remained in my position until he walked straight past me without a clue to my whereabouts. Who was this man and why was he following me, I wondered to myself. I then had the idea of following him to see where he'd go. So, staying far behind but still keeping him in sight, I followed him. At first he just walked around a bit, but after so long it was clear he was going in circles as if he was lost. I know he was looking for me. He even made it a point to go up close to shop windows glancing inside. It was so funny to see him knowing I was watching him. That laughter soon come back to haunt me when I followed him into a supermarket. I was looking through the aisle at him when by accident I knocked a ketchup bottle off the shelf. Not knowing if he heard it, I quickly ran to the end of my aisle and around the corner, now hidden again down the frozen food aisle. I could just about see the man scurrying around, searching every aisle, even getting on his hands and knees to try and spot me. Again, I knew he heard me, and I know he knew I was in the supermarket. Watching him check every nook and cranny, I managed to sneak all the way to where the back entrance was. At the back entrance there was 2 signs leading down into an underground car park. At one side there was a ramp that went around in a spiral to the bottom, and on the other side there was an escalator. In between both the ramp and an escalator there was a wishing well in the middle, separated by a wall. Thinking I had lost the man in the supermarket, I stood on the escalator. Descending slowly down, I heard loud footsteps walking down the spiraling ramp. Thinking it could just be a customer, I continued on the escalator. I was about halfway when I saw the man again. He was looking over the wall at me. I was frozen in fear. Luckily there was the well separating us. And still not knowing his intentions, I ran to the bottom, hearing his footsteps close behind me. I wrestled with the slow opening automatic doors as I only just made it away from him. Once in the underground car park, I began trying to lose him, going through places he may not have been familiar with. So I went down every cut-through alleyway I could find, never looking back once. It wasn't long before I took a glance back and he was gone. So after finally losing him, I decided it was time to get far away from town. I made my way to pick up a few toys for my daughter to go with her main present. So no longer paranoid and still looking over my shoulder, I go into a toy shop called Mix and Match, which allowed you to get one item and get the other half price. I could not see the man who had followed me just about everywhere today. I was glad, but I wasted no time in picking out my daughter's gifts. I got her a little dolly that had a pull string on her back, and once you would pull it, the dolly would sing a little song. And I remember my daughter asking for a Play-Doh set, and I was more than happy when I found one for her. After paying at the checkout, I made my way back to the bike shop to pick up my daughter's bike. On the way, I was trying to wrap my head around why I was being chased. Did I do something wrong to anyone? No, I replied to myself. I wasn't the sort of person to cause any trouble. I knew I wasn't in any kind of debt. For the life of me, I just could not work out why this man was chasing me. So after spending some time deep in thought, I finally arrived at the bike shop and picked up my daughter's bike. It was inside a box and it was easy enough to assemble once I got home. So after a stressful time in town, I was ready to go back to the car and go home. I made my way through town and up the stairs leading me to the top of the multi-story car park. I don't even know if the time on my ticket has run out, I thought to myself. But with another thought in mind, said, to be honest, I don't care, I just want to get home. I walked to my car and unlocked the door from about 10 feet away. When all of a sudden the man popped up from behind my car. I'm not kidding. I just about jumped out of my skin. I was terrified. I didn't know what to do. I nervously shouted to the man, "Hey, who are you? Why have you been following me for?" The man gave no response. He just stared at me with an angry expression on his face. He then took one step forward towards me. When out of nowhere 2 police cars pulled up. The man tried to run away, but a couple of police officers quickly apprehended him and put him in their car. I turned to face one of the police officers and told them everything that had happened. The 2 officers then looked at each other, and with one of them letting out a loud sigh before answering, "You are extremely lucky. Somebody from security informed us he was spotted on the cameras in the car park." "Why, officer?" I politely asked. "A few months ago his daughter was killed in a car accident." I spoke again. "But what's that got to do with me? Anyone who drives and has a daughter is not safe, I'm afraid." I then told the officers that I had never told the man I had a daughter. The police officer told me that he probably saw the girly stickers that I had in the back window of my car and it made him angry. Because a car was the reason he lost his daughter. I was in shock from what I was hearing. It was also very sad news. The police officers told me he had already been spotted several times following dads around that had been carrying anything girly on them or in their cars. He already tried to hurt one dad by following him into a public toilet and tried to wedge glass into the dad's neck. Luckily for the victim, he escaped the man, and told the authorities about it. Understandably, he's not well and is unfit to be in society. "You have a good day now, sir." Then the police officers drove away with the man. The man watched me with that same angry expression on his face. As the police car pulled away, the man's eyes never left me once.